people. If you're doing a timing belt, here's how you do it. On anything B series. Alright. If you're new to this, I can still teach you what I actually taking everything off. What you're going to do is, let's say, like what happened to me, my timing was out of whack. So what happened was, the belt was so loose, changed the belt already, of course, but the belt was so loose that I even got a crank code, because the engine would just keep cranking, right? And this cam was over here, and this cam was up here. Like, you see the up arrow? Hold on. You see the up marks? This one was over here. This one was over here. Because that's what happens when the belt skips timing because of incorrect procedures. So, what you do is, you take the harmonic bouncer off on any car. You take the harmonic bouncer off. I had to use mine. My neighbor had to let me borrow his compressor gun. And there's a mark on the crankshaft pulley, right? I started the engine because that's why it's not. That's because I started the engine with the mark. You see where that key goes? That's the slot for the key to hold the crankshaft pulley in place. Right in front of that, there's a mark. Right? Oh man, hold on. You see that mark? That mark has to go up and line up till you see that right there. So that's how you set it at the top dead center. You bring that mark to that line on the block, and that'll be top dead center. You do this first before you play with the cams, okay? So you set that mark, that line right there on the crankshaft pulley, to that line, and you turn it counterclockwise. Always counterclockwise, because that's the way that the motor spins. You can leave the car in neutral, don't worry about that. You don't have to have the car in gear. Leave the car in neutral, turn it counterclockwise. That's me. You're going to turn this to the left. Then you set that first. That means the piston is going to be top dead center. You go up here now. You do this while the belt is off the car. So you take the belt off first, by the way. You take the timing belt off. And once you're done with that, you're going to come up here. Sorry. You're going to come up here. The belts are going to be off. You're going to turn the cams. Do the distributor first, because the firing order is 1. Firing order is 1, 3, 4, and back to 2. Which means that this piston has to be up. My spark plug is in there, but yeah. So once you have top dead center, you go to the cams, and you get a ratchet, whatever. I like these kind of ratchets. Get it from AutoZone. It's like 5 ratchets in one. This thing has helped me get out of so many mess. Anyway, this thing is cool. So it's a 14. You put it on here. You're gonna turn the motor 3-inch. You're gonna turn not the motor. I'm sorry, the cam 360 degrees to get it back in the right timing. So you put it on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically. You're going to turn it until you're going to turn it 360 degrees, which means a full 1 revolution. And then on your second revolution, right? So this is what you're going to do. You're going to turn it 1 revolution, pass. When you're coming up to the second revolution, this up mark, that up mark has to be facing up. 90 degrees. So you're going to stop right here at the top of the cam. You're going to make that up mark face up right here when you get to your second revolution. You're going to do the same thing when you get to this cam. That up mark has to, when you get to your second revolution, it has to face up. And there's 2 lines. Once they both face up, there's 2 lines that's on the cams, on original cams, by the way. On aftermarket cams, they're different. Because especially if you have adjustable cams, the dots are going to be on different parts of the cam itself. Anyway, there's 2 lines that you're gonna have to pay attention to, and they are on disc. These are original cams. The hell are they? Oh, okay, I see it now. These on mine, there's one right here. If you can see that. Oh, you can't, can you? Huh. I don't know if you can see that. I can't zoom in for some reason. Fucking iPhones, man. Ah, yeah. Tell me about it. Anyway, I'll try to do this as best as I can. There's a mark. Okay. Okay, there's the mark. Ah. Yeah, there you go. You see it now? A little bit at least? You see that mark in the cam? They have to be facing each other in the middle. So once both up arrows are facing up, those two marks have to be facing each other. In other words, if those marks were right here, they would have to be facing each other, line up perpendicular to each other. Alright? And that's when everything is at top dead center. Once everything is at top dead center, don't worry about the tensioner yet. Just loosen the tensioner, leave the tension. Don't take the bolt out, by the way. Just loosen the tensioner, leave the tensioner where it is. When you installing a new timing belt, you're gonna go from the bottom. Put the bottom on first. You're gonna wrap the belt. You're gonna wrap the belt from the crankshaft pulley up over the tensioner back to the water pump. That's for the left side, but don't bring it up all the way on the left side. You're gonna set this cam first. In other words, this belt is gonna be the one that you're gonna lay up first. So you're gonna bring the belt and put it over this cam first, the left cam. Reason why you do that is because if you do it the opposite way, you're more or likely to shift the timing, and then you have to set it over again. So that's why people do it from left to right, because you have a less chance of having to, especially if you don't have the dual overhead cam lock tools.